Hey, thanks for watching. This is probably part one in my series of converting my tiller motor over to remote controls and actually mounting it on my Pontoon as a auxiliary motor or kicker motor. So I'm going to start in this video going through the instructions and the kit that I purchased online from eBay. This is part number, this is for a 1978 Johnson 9.9. Your part number may differ, but it's a 389733 is the part number for this particular motor. And it comes with a set of instructions, so we're going to go ahead and start converting this from tiller to remote controls. Step one in this process has us removing the handle and removing the friction block and the spring that makes the tiller rotation mechanism here work. There's our spring. And that is the friction block. So that's what actually twists the handle. And I think that's just basically to disengage when we are using the remote inside the motor to control it. This will just spin freely without binding on the handle. So this is going to get reinstalled just with no friction block or spring. Next step is to remove the carburetor air silencer cover and base. Okay, next the stop switch nut needs to come off. I do not have a spanner wrench that will fit that, so I'm hoping that these vice grips get enough on there that perfect. Okay, next the holes here on this steering bracket need to be drilled out to 11/32 of an inch. These are 7/16 for reference. So unfortunately, I've run into kind of a hiccup. The next step is to relocate your stop switch into the mounting bracket here for the steering. And in order to do that, the wires have to go back through and be routed through. There's a little port there that I needed to pop out, but the problem is I've tried every which way to figure out if I can disconnect the wires from here without cutting them, and I cannot see a way to do that. So I went to the other end, and one of those wires is connected to a common ground here. The other one is going into this connector here, and I've tried to figure out a good way of disconnecting the wire only from there And again, don't see a good way to do that. So I think I'm going to be stuck cutting and then splicing back together these two wires near the kill switch, which means I'm going to have to get some sort of heat shrink or something. So no use crying about it too long. I've cut this sheathing back a bit so that I can have a good room to work. I'm going to do, I don't know that it matters, but I'm going to mark which wire went to which. That'll be relocated there. And I need to get that bottom part punched out. That's really simple to get out. I just pushed on it from the back side and it came out. My marker just came off. I don't know if it matters. Hopefully it doesn't. Alright, that should be long enough to go ahead and reconnect. I'm just going to let that dangle until I get the heat shrink or whatever I can reconnect that with. So I made a mistake earlier. I used the wrong hardware. Went back and read further into the instructions, and actually these are held on with the hex heads and these locking bolts that look like they come with some thread locker inside of them already. And it says when properly installed, the locking nut should be on the outside. So these are 1/2 inch. Okay. Just gonna put that on hand tight for now. So luckily I actually cut these wires at slightly different lengths, so I can still tell which one went to which wire. So even though I lost my electrical tape when I was fishing it through there, we're still gonna be okay shape. Next, we're going to remove these two plastic plugs from the side, and this is where our shift bracket will connect to. It looks like I can push these plastic pieces in from the back with a flathead. then this is what these tapered screws were for that I thought were for the bracket, or the steering bracket, are actually for the shifting bracket. Next has us installing this detent clip, the spacer, and the screw. Just gonna go loose with that for now. Probably completely unnecessary, but I went ahead and cut a little notch in that plug that I pulled out before for the wire to go through, and then put the plug back in. I don't know if it'll help keep water out or do nothing at all, but that's what I went ahead and did. You can see it down there. Who knows if it'll even stay. But so that's really as far as I can go until I'm ready to actually put the cables on. So I have the shift bracket installed and it's ready for the cable to go in, and the hole where the throttle cable is going to go is open for us. That's where the stop button used to go, so that's going to go through here, and I can't do anything more until I've got the cable and ready to go. So and make another video of installation of my mounting bracket on the Pontoon, and once that's done, finish installation of all the hardware.